The Albanese government is firm in its plan to rescue families left behind by Islamic State in Syria amid security concerns from the opposition. Cabinet's National Security Committee will meet today to finalise plans for the secret rescue of 16 women and 42 children. The Shadow Home Affairs Minister Karen Andrews disagrees with the government's plan, voicing her concerns about the potential risk to national security. The Department of Home Affairs, ASIO and the Defence Department will organise the mission.
This is the Al-Roj detention camp in northeastern Syria, now home to many of the 16 women and 42 children the Australian government reportedly plans to rescue. Most of the children are aged under 6, some of them born in detention, their families stranded there since ISIS was defeated in 2019. Sydney resident Kamal Debussy, pictured here with his children and grandchildren who are stranded in the Al-Roj detention camp, is optimistic about the operation. We have not been notified by the Australian government that it is planning to repatriate the women and children, but it would be an incredibly exciting prospect. It's every parent's wish to ensure their children are safe. But the opposition warns the multi-million-dollar plan to repatriate the families and reintegrate them into society is too dangerous for the Australian Defence Force.
There was the risk that there was going to be to Australian personnel to undertake the mission to bring these people out and to Australia. And that was a risk that was considered to be a high risk, and it was not one that we were prepared to take.
And the coalition are also concerned about the risk these ISIS family members pose to Australians if they return.
I think Australians would be very concerned about people who've been who've been radicalised, who've been living with other people who've been radicalised, coming and living in their communities and going to their schools. And so I think it's very important that the government guarantees that it's got proper measures in place to protect the safety and security of law-abiding Australians.
But Environment Minister Tanya Plibersek is downplaying any threat they would present.
We've got about 40 Australian kids living in one of the most dangerous places on earth in a refugee camp. Some of the women, some of the mothers were taken there as little more than children themselves and married off to IS fighters. Some of them tricked, some of them forced to go there.
Some of the children I saw were clearly stunted. Their teeth were rotten and falling out. They had suffered from significant impacts on their mental health and had suicidal ideation. These kids, by any measure, are just hanging on.
If the plan proceeds, those who are most vulnerable will be prioritised first, and it won't include any repatriation of around a dozen Australian men also detained at the camp, many deemed simply too dangerous to return home anytime soon. Joel Phillips, Sky News, Canberra.